Your assignment tonight is strategic. You can't give the enemy a break. Send them to hell.
When things look bad, and it looks like you're not gonna make it, then you gotta get mean. I mean plumb mad dog mean. Because if you lose your head and you give up, then you neither live nor win. That's just the way it is.
This is VP4 TV. Here is a list of scheduled upcoming matches in this year's VP4 2022 World 10 Ball Championship. I will try and stream as many matches as I can, although time zone differences will be an issue. I must thank those players who take this into consideration when arranging their matches. Please subscribe to my YouTube and Twitch channels to join in the stream chat. Here is a suggestion I have had for a long time in VP4, allowing us to use the numpad numerical buttons as camera buttons targeted around the table. Why, you ask? It benefits anyone watching as a spectator. They don't have to keep using the V donut button to move around the table. It also helps anyone as a live streamer, me, to have a more professional looking camera work. Players in-game themselves can quickly tab the relevant camera buttons if they so wish to during play and whilst also watching opponents shoot.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Trouble with Scotland is that it's full of Scots.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.
Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon to Slim. I think you're the only person in the building, Slim. Good afternoon, good morning, and welcome back to VP4 TV. And it was a long day yesterday for me, especially with the second match of the day starting at midnight, and a match that we had no clue would have ended up the way it ended up. Certainly not when Interchange X was 5-0 up and 6-2 up. We didn't foresee the outcome in that match, and well, I'm wondering if Hairpig has recovered, because he had a pretty poor game all round. A lot of self-inflicted damage, and then strange things just seemed to happen for Interchange X, and Bill found his way back in. Welcome to Cheeky Chico. So we're about 3 minutes away. As far as I know, I don't think Steve is intended to be here. He never mentioned anything. So it'll be a solo job this afternoon. And, well, Slim's called it 13-9. I would think maybe 13-7 to Bill, maybe 13-8. Having played Paul in the league last week, I found myself 5-1 up, and he sort of got his way back into it, combined with a couple of stupid shots I played, but he got a little bit lucky on a couple of shots to keep him at the table and win a couple of racks, and he got it back to, I think he was 6-5 up? I can't remember, but my main criticism of him was he couldn't get the job done, and he should have. I mean, he should have won that match, and that's my concern for him in this match, that he's going to fall well short of where he needs to be punishing Bill, assuming that Paul gets enough opportunities. Now, Bill's going to be taking his shots on, and Paul is going to get opportunities, so that's the big test. Is he going to be up to the job? And I think he might fall short. So let's see if this works. Hang on. See if it's this one.
Today's match in the VP4 10-ball World Championships is a one-loss side match. We have Mr. Bill representing the United States of America, and Paul24 representing the Philippines. It is a race to 13 racks. The winner will go through to play Cheeky Chico.
So, the two players are in the lobby. Bill's been getting practice on and off during the day, and Paul arrived about 10 minutes ago. One thing to mention, Bill sent me a message there about 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, that of course Bill is at work, so he's on call, and he might get called away to deal with a customer, and he's letting us know that he will be back at the table. So what I suggested to Bill is that he talks to Paul about that and lets him know in case he gets called away. There's a strong likelihood that he might, being on call and doing the job that he does. So we're aware of that, and we'll just sit patiently until he returns. Yeah, I had that, Chico. I had the Michael Buffer one before, so I did. Right, the room is about to go up. In fact, it should be going up right now. And we'll get headed in. The usual thing, we'll have the lag for the break. It's a race to 13. It's alternate break. 10 ball is all banks and combos should be called. And of course it's automatic call in the 10 ball. So there we go, the room is up. We are in. And we're waiting on Paul arriving. And of course, again, to remind everybody, as we look down the table, the player at the top of the HUD on the left will be the player on the right side of the screen, or the right side of the table, as they lag off. So here we go. And it looks like Paul has won the lag. So again, as with all underdogs, it's a good start that he needs. And I think we're already in this nasty habit of dry breaks. Straight off the bat. Yeah, Steve has his camera set at, wait a minute, where is it? Don't tell me my Y button isn't working now. What the hell's happened here? There we go. Steve has his camera set at the head of the table. My camera's set at default, but I've got this got the Y button set for the other end of the table. Now this is a little bit tricky here because he has to make sure he doesn't bump into the 3, which he's managed to do. Now I wonder if it will go forward and inside the 6 and 5. The danger is going too far up the table behind the 7. But I think the angle's good with a bit of inside to get up that direction. Now, for anybody who wasn't on the stream late last night or early evening US time, Steve's going to tweak the cues, and he's also going to tweak the rails. When that's going to happen, I don't know. Whether it's going to happen during this tournament, but he did mention it, so be aware of that. And well, that was a reasonably good opportunity there for Paul. And if Bill can get this cue ball, he might just roll this in dead weight and stay there. But yeah, because I think the danger is running down towards that 7. But Paul's going to be punished. And it's again repeating myself. You know, if Paul and those like him still left in the tournament want to be contenders, they must be clinical and they must do the job at the first asking, and rather than waiting and hoping that you're going to get a second bite at it, because it's generally not going to happen. Yeah, I think he's going to put more grip in the rails or something, and he's going to tweak the cues. If you watched last night's rerun, you would hear what he was saying, because he was looking at Interchange X's break, where he's jacked up to kill the cue ball, and then Hairpig was doing something similar, you know, jacking the cue ball up higher, but at a higher angle in the break shot. And Steve mentioned he's going to change the. I don't know what it was. I don't know what word they used. Was it the pinch or something? I can't remember. I was half asleep at the time, Larry. But it is on the stream. So he's intending to do two things. Whether that's going to happen like now during the tournament, I don't know. Or he might have gone to bed and forgot all about the idea. But anyway, it's first rack to Bill, and it's against Paul's break. Paul had the first chance. Well, he had a chance, but again, couldn't get that job done. Well, there's a mistake. I went and set my little clicker. I've got a little clicker that I use maybe to count what rack it was or something. And I set it the other night there for rack 3 to check what was a dry break. That's me just resetting it because I forgot to go and check it afterwards. Yeah, say Bill is in a bit of a hurry because he's at work, and I think he's worried that he doesn't get called away to deal with a customer. But this is a rack that should be in the bag here. Now this just needs maybe a little touch to straighten the cue ball. I wouldn't want to go too far wide left as we look if I was Paul. I'd be worried about making the pot as simple as I can. I certainly wouldn't want to go on top of the 10 ball. So this is comfortable enough, he's fine, but needs that angle. And again, this is where players at this level in the tournament are already switched onto that fact to make sure that they do get the angle. And this isn't good. Now, if he puts bottom and left on it, it will kick across the table. He needs to watch the pace of it. But he's going to end up on the short side of the 10 ball. That's the problem there. Now he's hitting it plain ball with draw. And he's decided he's going to leave the bedhead cut, which is probably, to be honest with you, the safest thing to have done there rather than doing something crazy. And of course that took out any risk of any sort of scratch trying to get to the short side of the 10 ball. But he has to put this away. And that ain't it, I'm afraid. And that's his problem. He's nervy and more often than not isn't going to get the job done. He's had 2 good chances, he should be 2-0 up. Well, Bill's already warned us about that. He spoke to me before the stream that he may well get called away, so I just advised Bill to let Paul know that. So, we're hoping it doesn't happen, and he's probably hoping the same. And Paul has to hope that he can settle down quickly. Like Hairpig early this morning, Hairpig was eventually waiting on some sort of gift to eventually get off the mark. And the gift came. The only problem was the gift came when he was 5-0 down. I would have done something crazy. What's that an answer to, Larry? Because I've missed the chat there. Maybe it's scrolled up out of screen. Wait to have a scratch at my ear. Well, Bill's going to have to go straight across and kick this. I think he's got the angle. I think he's got the room past the 7. Didn't quite get the line. But Paul again has to be using his head here. Now, is he going to try something crazy to get on the 3 ball? Or is he going to play something where he can get to the 3 and play a good lock-up safe? Again, that might not be it. I don't know whether he can push that past the 7. Well, he probably can push it to the 9 and just dink behind the 7, pushing it left. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know who said what and why you said that, Larry. You're going to have to write it all down and explain it. You're going to have to draw a picture. I've had a lack of sleep last night, remember. Didn't get to bed till about 2:30 in the morning. And I was still up at about 7:15. The body clock just switches on. Well, that's turned out quite good. So, for anybody that doesn't know, the US Open is well underway, and there is a live stream on Matchroom Pool on Facebook of, I don't know whether it's table 1 or table 2, it's either or. There's 2 tables that are on the live stream. The current champion was 8-1 up when I had to switch off, so presumably he's got that match done. And there's also a live stream of a second table on YouTube on Matchroom Pool, and you can watch that all day for the next 4 days. And the guys that are actually playing today in the one half of the draw, they're going to play 2 matches. So they'll play one in the morning and then maybe one in the afternoon or the evening. Good afternoon to Cobra. So a reminder that the winner of this match will play Cheeky Chico in the next round on the one-loss side. Now this isn't great here for Paul. I think he has to feather this with a bit of left on the right-hand side of the 6 and try and duck away down towards the 9. Well, if he doesn't get behind the 7, he's done for. And I think I would have done my option rather than that, because you had 2 chances of getting cover with my shot, whereas he only had 1 chance there. If he had played my shot, he could have maybe got behind the 9 and maybe have got the 6 ball behind the 8. And plus the fact he would have had distance on it as well. I never like playing that, 1 chance shot. I mean, there are times when you might not have any great option, but I would have went for my option because it would have gave me, in theory, would have gave me 2 chances of getting some sort of half decent cover. And Paul needs to be thinking on his feet rather sharply here, or this match is just going to keep running away from him. I'll be honest with you, he wasn't talking a good game when he was talking about it in the chat. Yeah, I thought 13-7. I think we're most of us, I think Slim's along those lines as well, 13-8, 13. I mean, I think he'll do well to get 7 racks the way it's going at the moment. But we didn't think that Hairpig was going to get 7 racks last night or this morning. But I don't think I've seen a guy leave the game and leave the lobby as quick as I did in that match last night. Interchange X was gone in a cloud of dust. And I wonder what sort of damage he did to his keyboard or his mouse when he actually finished the match. So the 2-9 combo. Now, I don't know why he hit that so hard. I don't know why he hit it so hard. I think he was trying to stun it off the 9 to hold the 2, but it's actually, at the angle it was played at, it's leaked away. And now he's going to try and squeeze this in past the 5, which looks pretty tight. I think if he gets the line, what's he thinking now? I think he's keeping it at the same choice. No, he's just ducking for cover. Well, this is a 2-in-1 shot. Cut the 2 onto the 5, bring the cue ball down the table. But again, he has to make sure he's coming to the right side of this 3 ball. He has to be aware of that. I mean, if he comes down on the narrow side, you know, he's still got a chance. But well, that'll do as far as the pot goes. But I think I don't know whether he wants to try and use a rail here, because I'd be worried about the 4 ball to try and get around the table. And he looks as if he's well, he's happy to leave these cuts, but they've got to start going in though if he's going to leave stuff like this. Good morning to Dwight. I think it's still morning there. Is it 10 to noon? Well, that'll do. Now, you know, this shot here, this is going to be a wee bit tricky for him, because if he goes forward with the right English to go to the short rail and try and come out behind this 10 and 7, that could go funny that way. He's not doing it though. That's the right idea. Oh, 10 to 1. Your clocks have changed, haven't they? I think the US clocks go backward earlier than us for some strange reason. Well, now, is he going to try and get out onto this 10 ball? Yeah, that looks pretty good. So he's going to get off the mark. And it's his own break. 2 ball goes in. Now that 1 ball is on. What sort of shot has he got? Now, if he plays it plain ball and bumps the 6, he's not doing that though. He needs to watch the 10 ball. I think, I mean, okay, he's trying to hold for the 3 past the 5. If he hit the 10, he was fine. But the other alternative was maybe trying to bump that 6 ball. That might not have been great either. And that should be this rack gone. The 6 blocked off by the 8 ball. Now this is important, and how he leaves the shot on this 7 ball to be comfortable and get back out and up the table a bit for this 8 ball. Now he might be going to the long rail and then back across. He's not really getting into it though. He's not really getting into it, but he's still got the cut. And he's going to have to be up and down the table this time, unless he just leaves it up in the side pocket. Unless he leaves it there by the side pocket. Well, sometimes it's better to use the rails and go up and down, because that's a big error from Bill. He didn't get into the cue ball anyway to get good on that 8 ball, and that was his undoing, and it's a gift for Paul. Back to within 1. The break back to Bill, and the 1 ball has gone in. Tell a lie, the 1 ball that has gone in is a cue ball. Well, this is a bit ambitious. I mean, look at these balls in the side rail here to lock somebody up if you get out of shape, and he's going for the 10 ball combo. He's going to pay the price of this ball. I can see what's coming. I can see what's coming straight away here, and that was not the best idea. He's going to pay the price for that. I mean, that is just that again. What do we say? You know, you look at the lay of the table and you think this 10 ball, trying to play it straight on like that is not easy. And the way these balls are lying in this long rail on the side there, you're asking for trouble. You're going to be locked up one way or another. And if you can't see that staring you in the face when you're trying to line up a really difficult combo in the 10, then you've got very little hope for progressing, not only in this match but obviously in the tournament. Because that was a big sellout there. But of course, Bill's already made the mistake in the last rack. And of course now the 3 ball is an issue where it's sitting, especially where the 2 ball is. Bill might have to take his medicine and play the 3-8 combo. Nope, he's trying to get below it. And well, that won't go. So he's now got to duck for cover. And it's not a difficult hit, but he just has to ride his luck and how this is going to go. Well, he's called the 3, so he's looking to cut it. Well, didn't get the lucky roll. Do you think Bill would see this through this time? Well, I don't. The only thing he has to really concern himself about is how he finishes in the 7. He just wants to be nice in the 7. Whether he's, inside on the long rail on the right, or he's got an angle out in the table but the angle out the table's no good because that side pocket comes into play a fair bit from that direction. Is he going up to I think he's going up the table. Yeah. Oh, he's going to have to go through on the short side. Well, it's off the rail. Oh dear. That's again a result of getting way too straight. And Paul has got nothing to do here other than pot the 9 and just let that cue ball come into the table. He doesn't need to think about the cue ball, he just has to pot this at a decent enough pace and the cue ball will do the rest. That's fine, and again that's another big mistake by Bill. And that's what's preventing him getting away and keeping Paul in touch here. Now, just a quick reminder, this is a match that's on today. There's no other scheduled match today. The next one is Saturday, and that's the one between Popman and Fast Eddie, the one lost side. And then the big match is next week. That's like, what, 9 days away, is it? The one between Albinario and Spectre Dawn. There might well be match something arranged in the meantime, but as of now, that's how it stands. Meanwhile, Bill has broke off. One ball is gone. He's on the 2. Yeah, the match is thin out. I mean, the good thing about that match next week is that that's my first day off on Wednesday next week, so it's not a problem. Well, both the balls are in there. Now, how does that 7 look? This 7 isn't particularly comfortable the way I'm looking at it. That 5 ball wiped its feet and thought about it. I don't know whether Bill get out off this 6 ball. It's very straight. He's going to have to thump it. And he's looking at the 7, trying to convince himself he can pot this 7. I think if you're trying to pot it legally, well, he's got the cue ball out. But if you're trying to pot this legally, I'm not convinced. I'm thinking it's hitting the knuckles, and Bill agrees with me. He's decided against it. Well, now does Bill try and get the nudge here, or is he going to push this through? Yep, he's got the nudge, but it is not pretty. This is a big test again for Bill here. He could find himself going behind in this match. Now he needs a good roll, and he hasn't got it. Again, this instance here, Paul needs to do this. He needs to put it away. And he doesn't need to really spend an awful lot of time thinking about it. I don't know whether the angle's good enough to miss the 10. If he needs to stun it a bit, you see, no, he didn't get into it. He still got the cut on the 9. And I think if he'd got that any thicker, that 10 ball, he might have had not a lot on. Got to watch the pace in the cue ball. That'll do. And so these mistakes from Bill are far too many. He's got to cut them out. And so we have a new leader in this match. And the break goes back to Bill. Ball in the side pocket. Very thin cut in the 1. And now he's got to find a gap with this cue ball. The gap between the 10 ball and the 8 ball to get on the 2. It's a wide enough gap, but it's a narrow window, which sounds a bit weird to say. Well, he's got there. And he's got to force this in as well. Because unless he just decides to leave a bank, he's got to get the cue ball around. Well, the angle was comfortable, he got there. Now he's got to brush across that 6 ball to stay in the 4. How does that look? Well, one thing is he can't avoid hitting the 6, so he needs to be sure where it's ending up. It's a question of whether it goes into the rail sooner or whether it goes a wider line like that, which is better. But again, I think he's going to have to maybe use a wee bit of spin, get that cue ball onto the short rail and back over to the right. Oh, he's a bit heavy, is he? He's a bit heavy. Well, here we go again. And Paul should be on his toes here. Yeah, I can well believe that. Good afternoon to Pop, man. I can well believe that. I mean, if he's sitting there and he's just dreading getting a call, or to go and speak to somebody or go and do something, it's pretty distracting. So Bill's got Paul in trouble. And I think Paul will have to settle for that, because Bill can try and, well, he's trying to use that 8 ball. So it's a fairly big target, that 7 ball. And obviously you would generally go to the long rail. You go short rail, long rail, and try and kick that and maybe call it into the corner. He certainly called it. I don't know what pocket he called it into. Now Bill's got the reverse bank if he wants to take it on. That was well done. Now he needs to slow up again. Where's the cue ball going? Well, he's no problem getting on the 9 ball. It's full focus on the 8. Cue ball's again just going to follow the natural path off this 8 ball. And well, I think it's just as well that cue ball actually bumped to 10 there. So we're now tied up again.
Put 'em up, put 'em up.
Wrong one. I'll remember these buttons eventually. I think that was dry. And I'm looking to see where the problem is. It might be right now. It might be right now. This might be the problem. The way he's sitting on this 2-ball. It's got to be a reasonably well controlled shot. He's just coming into the table. But now he's hampered. I think all he can do is just come back 2 or 3 inches, leave the pot in the 4. Doesn't need to juice this up. And that's why he's been undone. The Q-tip or whatever wasn't set right, or he wasn't aiming right over that ball, and he's left a combo here. That was not easy. As soon as you're queuing down over those balls in VP4, it makes them much, much more difficult. The perspective's changed, your viewing angle's changed. Oh, that 3-ball is broke clean. Now again, the angle is there. It's just about potting the 3 and letting the cue ball come up with it. He might want to just, I don't know whether he wants to sort of dig into this a wee bit. Is he going to let it run? I would be maybe just punching this in a wee bit. No, he's fine. I should have been round behind the shot. But again, I keep repeating myself, at this stage in the tournament, and of course on the one-loss side, when you've got tables like this, you know, it's always a fail if you can't find your way out. When there's no troublesome balls on the table, you need to be good enough at this level in the tournament to look at the table and say, right, you know, no problem, I'm finding my way out here. Well, he has to watch that 9-ball. He looks as if he's coming back across, and he's underhit that to make sure he wasn't going anywhere near that side pocket. Now, hopefully he's had a look at this 8, because it's well off the rail, so it's just a little dink. Just a little dink and no more. That's a bit more than a little dink. That's a bit more than a little dink. I mean, that touch there was like a sledgehammer for what I was asking for, and now he's leaving it as difficult as he can. He's going to have to just come back across and leave the bedhead cut in the 10-ball. He doesn't want to try and get fancy here. Just take your medicine and pot the 9. And that's the right thing to do. Yeah, that's because I randomly hit buttons. I mean, I don't know how many keys I've got configured on my keyboard here for shortcuts and stuff in this XSplit, but it's bloody it's too many to count, believe me. I like showing you my logo, because it annoys people as well. So, Paul back into the lead. Bill's break had a ball, but in fact, 2 balls in the break. He's played the safety. Not a difficult one to hit, I don't think. Now, is this going to come in line to the 3-ball? No, it isn't. So, and again, of course, a player like Bill with so many 9-ball racks under his belt and umpteen tables like this, he's fully expecting to get out. And we're all expecting that as well, to tie the match up. But this 3 ball's a little tester straight away. Now, I don't know how many of you were here at the start of the stream and how many are sitting there hiding in the corner. But I did mention that on the stream earlier this morning or late last night, however you want to describe it. Steve was looking at Interchange X's break and also Hairpig, because he started trying to do what Interchange X was doing. Jacking the cue up a bit higher angle in the break to try and get that cue ball to plant in the middle of the table. And Steve's got it in his mind to tweak the cues slightly and also tweak the rails. You know, more rail grab, I think that was the word I was looking for, Larry, if you're still there. That's the word I was looking for. He's going to be, his intention is to tweak another couple of things. I think he's got bored with tweaking the rack. He's now going to try and tweak other things. Anyway, it's job done for Bill. Back all square, rack number 11. It's Paul to break. And disaster. So, the gift that Bill wants to get started, and obviously where he is at the moment there isn't a problem, but where the problem lies is the 4 ball. And not only that, it's where the 3 ball is as well. 3 ball's right down here in the bottom rail as we look. So there's work to do here. Now, he's got to go forward, short rail, long rail, into the gap between the 9 and the 7, would seem like the route you would go. And now the problem is getting out of there clean when he makes the collision on probably both of these balls. It might be. Well, he bumped to 10. Got the pot. Well, don't forget, he's also going to, not that it's going to matter to you guys or me because we don't play the game, but he also is looking at tweaking the carom table as well. Which I think, from what he mentions, like a genuine fix, because who was it that was sending him? I can't remember what player it was, but Steve went and tested what the player was talking about, and Steve agrees there's a problem with the way the cue ball's running and some sort of shot, and he's going to look at that as well. That'll make no difference to 98% of the online players. Well, there it is. There's the problem. And Bill is going to try and duck for cover here. And behind the 10, I think he's nicking out there. Well, now, Paul, what do you do? I mean, either way, you've got to make the bank. There's nothing really set here. He's trying to cut it back into the side. I think he needs a bit more cutting it than what he's doing. Maybe it's my eyes, I'm not convinced. Then again, what do I know? Where's the cue ball going? Oh dear. Well, that's a gift handed back to Bill. So Bill back into the lead. 6 racks to 5. Ball into the side pocket for Bill, and in fact it was a 1 ball. Was it? No, it wasn't. What makes me think it was a 1 ball? It was a 4 ball. The thing is, he hasn't got a shot in the one. Is that going to catch the knuckle? No. Well, bear in mind where the 2 ball is. This is a shot to nothing. You play the cut on the 1 ball, and if you get lucky and you squeeze it past the 8, the cue ball's coming back up the table. He needs to hit it hard enough. Whether he finishes ugly on this side or ugly on that side, he needs to have enough pace, but he's not interested. And well, at least the pot isn't on. But Bill, oh, what's he crying? Is he trying to just skim it? Yes, he is. And that's beautiful. That's exactly what was called for. Excellent.
Let's watch a replay of that last shot.
That's how thin they've got to be. Now, if Paul can get this right, and he hasn't, he could have maybe just nudged that, just clipped that one and nudged it along the rail there. And what that's also done is that's freed things up for Bill to get a 2-rack lead here. We've already seen that Bill's not settling into a good rhythm here. He's coming up short a couple of times and finding his way out. And he's short on this 5 ball big time. And now the problem is, how does he get out of that corner up there? Now he could smack this with loads of right English. I don't know whether he'd be comfortable just doing that. No, I don't like the look of it from that angle. He's trying to miss the 8. Yeah, and that was a good shot. That was risky. Now, Steve was talking about that shot last night, the one I was talking about there, until I went round and looked at the angle that he had on that ball, but a lot of players would never have attempted that anyway. The most obvious shot was running it around the corner and out, but you're always concerned about that 8 ball where it was sitting. But he's over the line now, and he's now got himself into a position that he can try and build on now, but for the fact that it's Paul's break. But now the pressure's on Paul now to stay in touch. And I think it's worthwhile you guys having a look at my, if you're on YouTube, just tab out for a second and go and have a look at the community tab and see how the votes are going. There must be a few Cowboy fans have appeared, because Cowboy, I think, second in the running now. for the next World Championships. And if you haven't placed your vote, get your vote in quick. And you can also vote for the cameras as well if you haven't done it. So it's on YouTube, my 9ball.com YouTube channel, and then click the community tab and have a quick look and see what the latest results are of the two polls that I'm doing. Well, look at those three balls right in the middle of the table there. They haven't moved an inch, I don't think. And Paul, if he can, it'd be nice to, well, he's tried to draw into the 4. Now, again, if I'd been down in that shot and looked at that, I would have looked at maybe, if the angle was there, just to run into the 9 and 10 and still be on the 4 into the side pocket. I don't see where that could have went wrong. Well, now's not the time to be trying anything heroic. I mean, at worst here, he should be looking to just duck away off this 7 ball. I don't think the 7 ball goes. I mean, I think it's tight, but look at that 9 and 10. Now, oh dear. Well, Bill will already have looked at that 9 and 10. I think the 10 is going to the, well, it's going to the very edge of the jaw. Now, does the 7 go? It does, you know. It does go. It's very tight, but it does go. There's room there. And that's, oh dear. Well, what does Bill do? Does he go for the bank? That 10 ball's very tight to try and play the bank. And obviously the combo's the next thing in the cards, but he is looking at the bank. He's got to play it very, very tight past that 10, and that's the problem. Well, there's nothing easy here for Paul, but what he has to do is get that cut and get the cue ball across the 2 rails. That's probably the best he can expect. And this has the possibility, or the very likely possibility, of another one getting away for Bill. He was looking at a 3-rack lead there. Paul's digging into this. Oh, he's tried to kill it. He's tried to kill it. He's left the bedhead cut again. He might have been better going the 2 rails, because things like this he wasn't very confident on in the match I played him in the league. But this time it works out. And so Bill is duly punished. Well, Cowboy isn't a 10-footer, Tam. Have a look at it, Tam. Do yourself a favour, right? Go on to my YouTube channel. Open up YouTube. Presume you're a subscriber on YouTube, and if you're not, why aren't you? You don't need to watch on YouTube. I keep telling people that. And look at the community tab on my channel and have a look at the results of the latest outcome of the poll for the next World Championships. Cowboy was dead and buried, but there's a few Cowboy fans have been in. Or was it a reply to Cobra? Isn't a 10-footer. Cobra's bottled out because he wants it the 9-footer. That's for little girls and numpties. So it is. It's got to be the 10-footer, and it's got to be alternate. And you've got to be man enough to want to play it as well. Not like Bonnie Langford. So Bill just cannot get away. And he's going to have another chance here with ball in hand. Well, that's the idea, Tam. I'm trying the psychological approach. I mean, and plus he's probably trying the psychological approach with those that would play cowboy. Oh, you have to ask Steve that question, Popman. You're going to have to ask him. Mind you, it might be a while before you get the chance to ask him, because I think the next match is your match, I think, is it? On Saturday. And I doubt very much whether Steve will be bothered in that one. Because he's thinking it's going to be a bloodbath. And it will be a bloodbath unless you pull your finger out, Popman. First thing to do is forget about your last match and get focused. We've already had a team humiliation last weekend. Now Bill looks as if he's going to rescue the situation and increase the gap again. Well, do you not think you not think that he's enough years to have been taking that part of it on board, Slim, in terms of getting more people to come in? I mean, I'm doing my bit. There's not much else you can do. Short of spending a lot of money, and I don't believe that the game values spending that amount of money on some crazy advertising campaign. You'd literally have to bust the bank. And again, those three balls hardly moved. They hardly moved in the centre of that pack there. So Bill with an 8-6 lead, Paul with a dry break. Now, how does that 9 and 10 look from this side? Oh, look at that 9 and 10. Bill's got to give this a slam, I think. He's got to give it a slam. That 9 and 10. No, he's not taking it on. Well, I hope for his sake that he's actually looked at the 9 and 10 in the first place. And I hope that Paul is aware of the situation, because that 9 and 10 are asking to be smacked in. Well, they won't now. It's had a little nudge. But Paul's going to be backed into a corner here in a second. Well, did Steve not mention that he had a... what do you call the people that deal with promotion? I can't remember the word he used. But anyway, he did mention he had somebody that... you know, I don't know. You know, we'd all love to have 300 people in the lobby. But again, the biggest issue is players coming online and then very quickly realising that they're out their depth. They bump into the wrong player, and they don't want the hurt, and then they're gone. I think basically what you need to do is any new players that come into VP4, you need to keep them away from semi-pro, because he'll just beat the shit out of them, and then they'll have enough, and then they'll go away. That's what you need to do. So Bill looking to strengthen this lead and really up the pressure on Paul. Yeah, I think he can just draw off this. With the angle that he's got, I think he could still come off the 6. Well, I think he can find a line here. Let's have a quick look and see how it looks. Yeah, I think he should be fine. No, he doesn't think so though. Maybe not. Oh dear. Well, here we go again. And Paul has ball in hand. I hope he's paid attention. And now this, well, why is he going that way? Oh, he needs to be careful here if he's going to. He's letting it roll. See, the problem with that shot is he's you know, this is where you don't want to be. You know, he's fell short, so now he's running into the 10. He had to be on that 9 ball clean, so he wasn't interfering with the 10 ball, but that'll do it. That's worked out. He's just trying to make things more awkward for himself. What's that going to do for you, Pop Man? Changing your profile. Well, Bill is now under a bit of pressure here. He's only 1 in front. He can't get away. And each time he can't get away, it's down to his own error. And I don't think that's worked out too good either. And that's a terrible shot. The cup might not be on, but I mean, the bank is on every day of the week. Every day of the week. And he's got to watch the pace in the cue ball. He doesn't want to hit this too hard, but he doesn't want to finish behind the 5 and 9. And he's coming out behind the 9. That's excellent.
Let's watch a replay of that last shot.
That was exactly what you want to do. The right pace and the right line with the cue ball. He's just got to hold the cue ball now. He wants to get back off this 5 a wee bit for comfort. Oh dear. Oh. Dicing with death there. I think he should have got into it a wee bit more and got a hold of it better. But now this is critical again. It looks simple, but he has to be looking at how he leaves himself in a 9. Ideally, he just wants to be straight, because then it's really simple. I think he's fine. He can cheat the pocket. That's probably the better thing to do. Just cheat the pocket slightly, and he's not interfering with the side pocket. And that was again the right thing to do there. So here we go. We're going to be all square again here. Well, you can tell the crowd are going for the underdog. And Paul comes up dry. Bill has a cut in the 1. And the 2 ball's not going anywhere fast. Well, tell you what, this is going to be a great shot to drop that into the side. Yeah, played it well. Now he's in pretty good position here to get this done this time. What I've missed that bit of the chat up above there. Was that Napnicker talking about a fixture list or something? I've only caught the end of it. But I agree with what you're talking about. I always had the Virtual World Snooker Championships on at the same time as the World Championships. And the 9-Ball World Championship was always at the same time every year. I only used to do the 2 main tournaments. And I always believed in Friday Night 9-Ball. That's been the same since I started playing VP3, other than the fact that Friday Night 9-Ball used to be at 9 o'clock at night, believe it or not. So you can imagine what time it used to finish at. But bear in mind, it wasn't double elimination back then. It was only the tournament system didn't have double elimination. But you used to get a lot more people playing in it. So anyway, Bill back into the lead with the break. And it's another dry one. So here's a test. Well, I was going to say here's a test of Paul's nerve until that 7-ball locked itself up in the 2, because apart from that, he would have been good to go here. And now he's locked up the 9 and 5, so he's got an emergency backup. Although he could be in trouble. I mean, this is not easy to get safe. Well, I'll tell you, Slim. When I started playing VP3 online, that would have been when did VP3 come out again? It came out in November. Larry will probably remember. It came out in November in the UK. That's overcut. And I was up in Glasgow and I saw this black box in the window in the game store with a woman on it who I didn't know at the time, and I then realised that it was a new version of the games that I'd already had, and I bought VP3 in November of, was it November 2000? I'm not sure, but anyway, I then played it offline for a number of months, and I think it was like maybe March 2001 or whatever year it was, into the new year, I came online. And when I came online, I had, my name was too old to play, until I realised that there was lots of people online that had game handles exactly the same. So I then changed it, which was prophetic in a way. I changed it to 9ball.com, and Paul's missed the kick, ball in hand, but look at the 5-ball, it's locked up. And Bill's decided, what's the point? Let's try the long combo in the 10. So I changed it to 9ball.com back in the day, and I've had that name for, 20 years now, 21 years, round about that. And what I didn't know at the time is that having changed that to 9ball.com, I'd end up working in .com. Yeah, I only had it. I'll tell you, I only had it for a couple of weeks. Probably there's nobody around that would even know that I had the name of Too Old to Play. And I changed it within a couple of weeks. And it's been the same for all that time. Well, Bill has got the breakout very nicely on that 5 and 9. And he's got the angle on the 6. But he's going to have to jack up here. He can't just roll this because he's going to run into the 10. Oh, that's a disaster. He needed to get to juice up the draw on that a little bit. Even if he ended up up here having missed the 7 and finished up here, he still had the cut. So another poor one from Bill. And I think that Paul can't refuse this bank. He's got to go for it. He's got to go for this. Now, he's a Filipino, so they expect him to get it. And in it goes, and the cue ball, it needs to hold up though. Well, he's going to have to do it again. It's another bank, and again he needs to stun this in, I think, does he? Or does he need to put any spin on it? Because he wants to make sure he can stay in the right side of the 9 ball. Yeah, that's fine. 2 nice little banks. I mean, they weren't difficult. You've still got to get them. And all of a sudden, Paul's breathing down Bill's neck again. Well, Bill now is under pressure, believe me. It's now Paul's break. And it's certainly not going the way we all thought it was going to go, because Bill just cannot find any rhythm. It's difficult to do in 10 ball, but I mean, he hasn't been running tables. And this table's ugly as well, and somebody's going to get locked up because it's another dry one from Paul. Yeah, I don't understand the idea of people putting in requests to change their name every 5 minutes at VP4. I mean, I'm disappointed. I'll tell you something, Larry, you still there? I'm disappointed in Larry, because Larry was always Larry L in VP3, and then he changed it to Larry in VP4. So Larry's sitting in the corner keeping quiet, because he's one that changed his name, even if he just dropped a letter. He tried to disguise himself when he came on to VP4 by dropping the L. Oh, you're giving that to Larry as well, are you, Slim? Ah, good. Well, the cluster of balls up top have been opened slightly. 3 ball is available, but how does this look? Well, the 8 ball isn't going. Now, the bump on this 8 and 9, oh, he's missed it. He's missed it big time. And that's a huge fail by Paul, because he would be really unlucky if he didn't be able to see that 4 to pot it, and he's missed the hit. And that might be the best thing that's happened there, the fact that he missed it, because he didn't finish with a shot in the 4, and Bill's going to have to deal with this problem. Ah, right. Is Larry L and all the VPs up until VP4, and then he decided to go incognito. Well, here's the chance. Has he got the angle? Well, I think he's cutting this in and playing the bump. He's got to. because the angle's there to do it. And he might be locked up. Oh, well, I would have got into that a bit more because he's actually not changed it at all. It's exactly the same. And he might have to try and play the billiard, and I don't know whether that's good either. He's trying to push this 8 ball through, and he can do it. But Bill's riding a tightrope here. And, well, this is really awkward because you obviously want to go up and down to kick this to try and kick it in, but you've got to watch when you're moving that cue because you could put English on the cue ball. So he's called obviously into the corner. And it's going to hit it thin. And it's going to be on. And Bill is going to get away with it and get to double figures. So Bill back in the lead and back to his break. Well, that's a much better break. That's the best break of the match. The best break of the match by far because the 4's gone, the 9 has gone, the 1's a bit awkward but he can come right off the 1 and miss the scratch. And now with the angle he's got in the 2, he just needs to get into the cue ball to stun up past the right side pocket. I think the 3 goes past the 6. Then again, I might be lying, it doesn't. So that's the end of that idea. So he's now looking to lock this cue ball up. Oh, hang on a minute though. Hang on a minute though. He's had a nice little feather there, and he's got a shot in the 3. The angle's not great though. He might well just nudge in behind the 6 here. Well, that cue ball's running too. The 3 ball's running too far, but it's still a snooker. Of course, no jump cues, so be a brave man to try jumping that with a playing cue. Oh, welcome to Hairpig, still battered and bruised from last night. Well, I think for the most part of that match last night, Hairpig, for a fair chunk of it, you'll be thinking, well, I can't play as bad as that and still win in the next round. So you've got to look on the bright side. If that was a bad match, you did the most important thing is just hang around and see what happens. And lo and behold, look at the outcome. No, it wasn't 12-6. It was 5-0 at the start. Then it was 6-2, and then Hairpig just gradually came back. Now, was that called that pocket? Was it? Yes, it was. Well, this is not great either. This 5 ball, he's trying to drag all the pace off the cue ball here. And that was well done. And Paul, I mean, every player's under pressure now. Paul's now got a table that he should be out on. And this to square the match. Yeah, 5-0. Was it 9-3? It was 12-6. Oh, I was half asleep at the time. But, yeah, it's amazing how things can happen in matches. But, you know, Steve was noticing very early in the match that when Interchange X started, he was playing at a faster pace. He got to 3-0 and then I think he started thinking about something. And then of course, Hairpig himself was still making mistakes. Then it got to 5-0. And, well, that's a disaster. That's a total disaster right there. You cannot be missing them. And that might be the make or break shot there for Paul. Because if Bill cannot listen, we're running out of racks here. And it's a 2-rack gap. And even more pressure on Paul now that he's blown himself out the water in that last rack. We should have been all square. Big mistake. And Paul now right on the ropes here. 6-ball goes in. He's on the one. It's going to have to be a 2-9 combo, and then it's going to have to be a 3-5 combo unless he starts bumping balls. Now that shot he's just played there was awful. I mean, he's got away with it because it's now going to be a 2-5-9 combo, but I don't know what the hell he tried there. It certainly wasn't the shot to be playing. He should have just got out onto the table and played the 2, because now the 2 ball's leaking away somewhere and he doesn't know where, and now he's in trouble. So, completely the wrong choice of shot there by Paul. And Bill now with a clean shot in the 2. Is he going to try and dink behind the 5-ball? I think he has to. I don't know whether he can check this up. Maybe that's what he's trying. Yes, he's managed it. And this is going to hurt. Well, any other day, I think, if Bill was on his game, it would have been like 13-6, 13-7, 13-8. And it's only Bill's errors that have really given Paul enough chances to stay in touch. But the mistakes that's been made in the last couple of shots here from Paul have been well short of what's required. And it's the ultimate punishment. Bill's going to get to the hill. And Cheeky Chico, who, well, earlier on he was in spine, he's probably still there. But Cheeky Chico is waiting on the winner of this match. And Bill is going to be breaking for the match. And the 5-ball gets pushed in. A shot in the 1 which isn't comfortable, considering the angle he's got. He's got loads of left on this. Yeah, that was asking a bit too much. Now, this is very dangerous to be trying to thin hit this 2-ball. So he's going for the big smack. Oh, he's got away with that one. Now, how does that 9 ball look? Bill's having a look at bashing this 2 ball onto the 6 and 9. Nope, he's looking at something completely different to what I'm looking at. I'm looking at how that 2 ball goes to the 6 and goes to the 9. Well, he can get a clean hit in the 2, but he can't get away from the left side here with that 3 sitting. Oh, look at this 10 ball. Look at the 10. And now Paul's on the tightrope here. Well, the 10 hasn't been called because there's nothing really on there. Bank's been called up. Oh, that's going to be a missed call. So now Paul has a choice of playing in place or putting Bill back in. So having made that decision, he has to get cover, and he hasn't got it. And the only thing that might save him here is the 4 ball. Yeah, your score's looking good at the moment, Slim. So this 4 ball has to get bumped into the rail slightly so that it comes out and chips the 8 ball in because of the line that it's on. I think if he just hits this really smooth. Well, I think he did. That did work. In and off the jaw. A lot easier than it looked. So just stop the cue ball, stun this 6 up table. 7 ball, quick look at that. That's well off the rail. Well, I don't think he wants to risk jacking up. I think he'll just roll it soft. So Bill is through, but it wasn't comfortable. And Paul made some critical errors late on there, big time errors. Or this could have been an entirely different outcome. So Bill is through. I'm sure he'll be hoping to play a lot better than what he has done. And Paul, well, you're going to be counting the cost of those mistakes. Bill made enough mistakes to keep you in it, but you've got to follow it through and back it up by not doing some of the silly little things he did there at the end. So Bill's through, 13 racks to 9, and Bill will now play Cheeky Chico on the 1 loss side. Let's have a confirmation at that. So there we are. That's Bill and Cheeky Chico on the top half of the 1 loss side. We've got Cobra and Acero. In fact, Acero, I didn't know that. When did that happen, Cobra? You kept that quiet. I didn't know Acero had forfeited. I think we all thought that might be the case. Well, at least I did. But I thought he might have actually tried to play the match. So Cobra's had an easy round. And Cobra's now lying in wait of the winner of that match between Bill and Cheeky Chico. And further down, we've got Hairpig against Bedhead. It doesn't get any easier. And Fast Eddie is set up to play Popman at the weekend on Saturday at 3:30 British summertime. Let's just look at the top half of the draw on the winner's side. We have Albinario through to play Spectre Dawn, and that is a week on Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday the 19th, I think that is. It's going to be 8 p.m, which is like 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central Mountain Time, and what is that? Is that 12 noon Pacific, I think. So I will be there for that one. Further down, we have Stubb against Barkers. Now, the deadline for that match is the 20th, so it's still a long way away. Barkers presumably is in the UK, obviously Stubbs in the States, so there's a time zone difference there. And that match is the one we wait on. So this is why matches are thinning out. So the next match on that list is the Popman Fast Eddie match. There could be something in between times. There might not be, but it's another few days. It's next weekend before that goes. Let's have a look at the stats for the match we've just seen. Who the hell was playing? I totally forgot. Who the hell was playing? It was Paul and Bill. Now it's Mr. Bill, isn't it? I think it is. Mr. or period, as the Americans say. And it's not finding it. Oh, that's no good. Why is it so bloody hard to find Mr. Bill's name? And that's not working either. Mr. Billiard. Ah, it's Mr. B. It's not finding him at all. Maybe if I just put Mr. Right, let's have a look. And naturally, he won't be on this bloody list. I can't see him. Now, why is it alphabetically? It goes Billiard, and then it goes down to B and Mr. Bum. Why is it so difficult to find Bill's bloody name on this? I'll put the period in it, and then I'll put B. Right. If I can't, right now it's gone. Oh, there it is. Found him at last. Right. So break stats: 11 breaks each. Bill was good on the break as far as balls go. He was over one on the break, but look at Paul's break, 0.4. No run-outs from the break. 2 scratches in the break for each of them. And Bill's dry break percentage way down at 9.09. That's why his average balls is so high. On the other hand, Paul's down at 63%. Was that? Yeah, it is. Racks ran. Bill's got 1. Moneyball shot. Paul had 11. And he missed 2. And the more important thing is Bill had 13 and got them all. So there goes the difference between the two. But Bill's going to have to step up in his next match, so he is. So anyway, yeah, you look at the list, Larry, it's bloody confusing. I could go the other way, but anyway, it's done. So, well done to Bill. He survives, that's all that matters. He can always play better than that. Well, he knows he needs to. Well, good luck to everybody that's still left in the tournament. And I hope to be there for the match on Saturday. And then, of course, we've got, is it week 8 now or week 7? I'm losing track in the 9-ball league. We've got that on Saturday night. And I may well take Tam out and put myself in as we get nearer the time. I'll probably do it on Friday. on the day before, and that way there's probably not going to be anything else on this schedule for this tournament. Till then, I'll have to wait and see. But that's it, folks. I'm off for my dinner. Thank you for joining us, and get those votes in on that community tab. I'm going to have a quick look at it because I know it's updated since the last time I checked, and Cowboys well in the count now, I notice. So put your votes in for the next World Championship, and also put the camera vote in as well. And I will see you again soon. See you later, guys.
Good night, ladies.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.
With a little study, you'll go a long ways, and I wish you'd start now.